Hey everyone. Um, I decided that although I've done an FTM intro video, I have never really done a backstory on me for people who are following me and don't know me, or people who know me and don't know the backstory. Um, about me being transgender and me feeling these emotions my entire life. It is something that I don't know what it's like to live without. I don't know what it feels like not to have these emotions. And it's definitely something that will be with me until the day I die. When I was as early as I can remember, so about 3, I I was young enough to think that I would wake up one day and everything would be the way it should be, the way it felt like it should be, and I would be a boy, and I would have a penis, and I would have what I wanted. My computer is about to die. Hold on. So, when I got older, about 8 years old, I cut off all my hair and started wearing only boy clothes, only boy pants, all boy, everything. I passed extremely well. Before puberty hits, you don't have hips, you don't have anything. Boys don't have deep voices. I was an extremely successful little boy. Um, However, I think I still kind of thought if I did this well enough, things would be the way I wanted. I'd be a boy. Which, of course, is not how it works. Didn't physically wake up different, ever. um, then, I got a little older, and I was in middle school. My hair was still short, and that was definitely, junior high. That's a hard time to make friends. And to be, which everyone thought I was gay, to be like a very evidently gay little kid. I'm really lucky that I was never picked on too much, really. I got a couple comments throughout my life from that age all the way through high school, but really in comparison to what people have to go through, as far as the bullying aspect goes, I feel I was very fortunate. And I was able to make some friends, and they are still my best friends to this day, which I think is really cool. All girls, I need to make some guy friends because my poor dear girlfriend has to deal with me having a lot of girlfriends, which she's quite patient with. But as I got older and hit high school, one of the hardest moments of my life was when I realized, although I was thinking about the person I was in love with at the time, it was more in general about this idea that I realized inside myself. And I was in my room and I realized I will never be able to normally have babies with anyone. I can't get someone pregnant. And that idea is simply one of the hardest ideas for me to accept. Luckily, very luckily, there are things like IVF and there's adoption and there's so many options. It's not like I can't have kids one day. But when I realized that there would never be that simplistic moment of my wife coming to me and saying, I'm pregnant. And although that can still happen, it will be very planned, it will be very expensive, and it won't be that normal thing that you see in movies. And that's still one of the hardest things for me to accept about this entire thing. I've always wanted kids. I will honestly probably be one of those people who has kids earlier in life than a lot of people. I may not have talked about this before, and I may be really surprising a lot of people watching this. So sorry for that. Back to my story. As I got further in high school, I basically, became more insecure, and I grew out my hair, and I started wearing girl clothes, and I was extremely unhappy. And was probably the most unhappy I've ever been in my life. When I had long hair and wore girl clothes, and I can't even imagine how I dealt with it. I couldn't handle it now. I know I couldn't. So I don't know how I did it back then. And this entire time, throughout this story, I had identified as gay. It was the easiest thing I knew how to do. And the easiest thing I knew how to identify as. I liked girls, and apparently I was female, even though nothing in me told me I was. Nothing in me felt like I was, but apparently I was. So I guess I was gay, but I wasn't. I guess that's all part of growing up and figuring all that stuff out. And then I came to college, moved out to California. My senior year in high school, I had cut off all my hair again, but I was still wearing girl clothes. They were bigger and kind of sporty clothes, but they were still girl clothes. Make a long story short, I started packing in my apartment with my dear friends, my college friends, and they were nothing but supportive, and they'd make jokes and they'd call me a man, and but it was done in such a loving way, and it really was a good environment for me to start getting comfortable with learning how to express these feelings. Eventually, again, long story short, we get to my current girlfriend and I. And although I had tried to talk about being transgender and being born in the wrong body before, she really was the first person I honestly opened up to in a way that I never realized I would ever do. And be so honest about things inside of me and things that I've done, and a lot of deep stories that I never imagined I'd tell a single soul. And it just jump started it, kick started it. I all of a sudden I was telling my mom that I'm transgender and that I'm going to therapy and I need to figure this stuff out. And then all of a sudden I'm on hormones, and I'm telling my other family members, I'm making a YouTube video for anyone to watch stating that this is who I am. And it's been hard work for me. And I can't believe how amazing it is. And how much better I feel about myself. So if you're watching this and you're considering transition, I can't tell you whether or not to transition or if it's right for you. I have no idea. But I can tell you that I followed what was deepest inside of me and had nothing to do with a single soul on this earth other than myself. And I listened to that voice. And it's working for me. And I have really hard days. I have days where I feel like shit. But I'm so lucky, and I'm so excited to live this life. And although, yes, don't we all wish we could have been, born in the right body, I'd still probably pick that. I think I'd pick that over hormones and surgeries. But it's gonna be so worth it, and it already is so worth it. Listen to my voice, right? I mean, watch my first video. So, thank you for everyone who made it, 11 minutes almost into my video, and thank you for listening. I don't know if this is helpful to anyone. I didn't really necessarily make it to be helpful. I made it so that I could just talk about my feelings out loud, but I love my life. I love the people in my life. They will all come around one day. I might start pushing them a little bit harder, but thank you for listening, and I will update again, and I hope to hear from anyone who's watching, any comments, any questions. I finally figured out YouTube. I know how to work it, so I'll start, replying to people a little bit better, but I miss everyone at home, and I am finished. See you guys.